y'all, it's your girl Receipts with Real. Let's get right into it. Happy Monday, everybody, and happy Martin Luther King Day. So in light of Martin Luther King Day, I need to go ahead and cover this story. This is a highly requested video. This real estate developer, him and his family are going viral because they moved into a new home and it's still a developing community. And this is what happened.
Knock on the doorbell. Ring doorbell. We need you. What's going on?
Do you live here?
Yeah.
You do?
Papa.
I don't believe that.
What?
I don't believe that.
So what are you doing here?
Rory, come on. Rory, come on.
Hey.
Did someone come here?
That was my wife. Somebody chased her up here. And she had kids.
Who chased her?
She said somebody in a
There was a
silver
guy
truck.
in a gray truck, and he came
So
around the corner,
I don't
and
know if you guys have a
I was
reading.
in the street, and so I come up, and I just have my kids, and so I'm like gonna pretend that I'm coming home, and so I pull up, and I start walking to your back gate, and he stops here, and he goes, "Are you looking for someone?" And I said, "Nope," and then he sat here, and I was like, "I need to get in."
Well, that's my husband. That's why he lives here. Yeah.
This guy,
He lives here. So he came in and he said there's a lady screaming. And I'm like, that's...
she got all worried that some.
Scared the crap out of me.
How?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
How did he scare you,
I
though?
had a feel.
I just seen her in the driveway and I was like, are you looking for somebody? Because I was pulling up out
And I
home.
saw someone walking in our driveway, too. And I'm like, why is someone walking in our driveway?
Well, I'm
Well,
sorry.
here we got it. All right, sorry.
What?
I don't.
She said that someone was following her. So you were walking from there?
You came this way, didn't you?
No, I came down this street right here.
Yeah.
And I was riding slow because I'm looking at our Christmas lights.
Well, you just have to understand my point of view. Being by myself with two kids, I just saw a car coming, and so I was like, oh, it scared me, and so I just pulled up here, and I kept thinking, this could be his house. But you didn't say, this is my home. You just said, are you looking? And I was like,
I did. When you was on the porch, you asked me, did I live here? I said, yeah.
And you said, no, you don't.
And you said, I don't think you do.
It was obviously you could tell that I was really caught off guard.
Like, I'm pulling in my... It's like I'm pulling in my house. Like, this is not... This neighborhood is probably one of the best neighborhoods in Ohio.
It is.
I don't... You don't have to worry about stuff like that.
Well, I'm very sorry. I really hope that you're not upset with me.
Come on, baby. Go in the house. Let's go.
You told me that I didn't. You said you didn't think I live here.
It was
That-
the way that you were talking. I was so caught off guard. I'm so sorry.
Y'all, this is a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. For starters, this woman thought that it would be a good idea, this criminal right here, this culprit, this thug, she thought it would be a good idea to go strolling through her neighborhood with two children after dark, as she says, and she was on edge the entire time. Instead of just taking her ass back home, she thought that it was a good idea to continue strolling and profile a man going to his own home. This man was pulling up to his own house, and she asked him, do you live here? He said, yes, I do. And she told him, I don't believe that. What about this man made you think that he didn't live at his own home? Please tell me that. And one thing I'm not going to do, if I feel like I'm being kidnapped or I'm about to be kidnapped, what I'm not going to do is argue with the kidnapper. So her whole stance just doesn't make sense to me. And another thing that really drove me nuts was at the end of the video, did y'all peep how her husband said, come on, let's just go. We're not going to argue with this guy. I'm not going to argue with him. Let's just go. completely just disregarded everything that man was saying. And it really gave the tone of he's not important enough to argue with. That's how they treat us. They tend to act like we're not even worth the air. But it was worth it when she decided to call 911. It was worth it when she decided to scream through the neighborhood yelling help for everybody to hear. It was worth it when she lied and told her husband that somebody was chasing after her. But let's hear her side of the story.
Instagram. So if you guys jumping on, I'm just sharing the same thing here too as well. I unfortunately have had to make all of my Instagram accounts, our business accounts, private because we are being really harshly attacked over there, as well as in our direct messages, to the point of now me getting personal text messages calling me a racist pig and more. So, yeah, we're being told to watch our back and all the things. So I want to jump on here because my Facebook is public, and for those of you guys who are telling me that I owe a public apology, one, I will not apologize for making any sort of racist remark. I am the furthest thing from a racist. I will, however, apologize that my expression could ever come across in such a way, or that somebody could think something of that nature of myself and my family. So long story short, I need to give the context because there's a lot of y'all who are, I'm sure, coming to my page right now not knowing. JB's coming down, hold on. Hang on. Long story short, it's not a short story, but I'm just gonna give it to you guys all. Rory and I, a few nights prior, went on a run, and it was wonderful. If you guys didn't know, my dad and I grew up running together, so it was very special and sweet. So we were out running, Christmas lights were turning on, it was beautiful. I remember posting on my Instagram like a video of her running, and I wrote on it something, I quoted her of just like, "This is such a great night, mommy, I love you," or whatever. So she was like, "Can we do this again?" So a couple nights later, we went out. John, it was like we were just at daybreak. It was starting to get dark out. And John had told us in the garage as I was getting the stroller out and buckling up my son, who's 2, in the stroller. He was like, "Be quick. Don't be out long. It's getting dark," and that's just how he is. I'm getting a lot of text, y'all, so I'm so sorry if I seem to be scattered. So Rory, Cash, and I went out, and we were cruising. The sun started to set, and John Bishop is always I hate to use the word or term ditzy, but I just think the best of the world, so I say hi to everybody. Literally everyone. If you know me, I'm like my dad. Everybody's my best friend. Okay. So he warned me, "Hey, be quick." And he's always telling me not to talk to people. So I went out and we're jogging, and I was on the back end of the neighborhood that's newer construction, and it's dark. There's not many lights back there. A lot of new builds, not homes that are established. And so I'm turning, and I kept telling Rory, she's like wanting to stop, and I'm like, this isn't an area to stop. Like, let's get through to the main part of the neighborhood. So we got our Christmas music on, and we're jogging, and we're turning the circle, and I can see down our main drag, and I see car lights. And so mom's sensor, I was just like, car. There weren't many cars out, and I just saw those headlights. Just random thought. I was like, car. And so as we're running, I see the headlights behind me. And so I, like any of us have been taught, I think a lot of women have been taught, hey, if you ever, feel unsafe or you feel cars approaching, go to the closest house that is nearby and just pretend that it's yours. So that's exactly what I did. I see headlights. I don't even look to see what the car looks like. I just see headlights behind me, and I'm like, I got to get us off the street. Didn't even think much of it. So I take my stroller and I get in the grass and go on the sidewalk, and the car starts to slow behind us. And, which I was like, okay, he's slowing down. So I'm walking forward, and I tell Rory, hey, turn here. And so she turns, and I said, don't look backward, just turn here. And so she has no idea, what I'm doing or why I'm doing it, but she's walking up the sidewalk. And so the car continues to slow. I'm not looking backwards, but then I hear words say, can I help you with something? and it wasn't super friendly.
The entitlement is mind-blowing. Why does he owe you a friendly anything and you walking up to his house? He was nice enough to ask you, can I help you, instead of asking you who the F are you and get off my property. He could have told you to get off my property.
It was, and I get it, like, what are you doing? Like, can I help you with something? And I was like, oh my gosh, why is this person talking to me? Like, why is he at the bottom of the thing talking to me? And so I don't respond, and then I keep walking. And I push the jogger. The garage doors were open. The gates were open to the garage. And I remember thinking, praise God, somebody's home. Praise God, somebody's home. And by this time, I'm like, can you just drive away? Like, this is my house. And so I push my buggy up into the door just a little bit. And he says, can I help you with something? And I said, nope. And then I take my stroller and I start walking up the sidewalk to the front door. And I remember telling Roy, I'm like, hey, go. So I'm like, now walking down and I'm turning up this driveway and it says, are you looking for someone? And at this point, he's like further by the driveway. And I said, no. And he said a second time, are you looking for someone? And so it was becoming a little more stern. And I said, no. And so I'm taking the baby jogger and I am pushing it up the stairs. There's like a couple stairs to get up. So I awkwardly am pushing my jogger up these steps. And at this point, he had backed halfway into the driveway. And so I'm sitting there and I try to keep my cool. I try to keep my calm. You can literally on a video see me heavy breathing in the Ring doorbell. And Rory rings the doorbell and nobody answers. And so I step back and I said, is this your home? And remember, it's dark. The street's not lit well, and I cannot see him well. And he goes, yes. And I said, I don't believe that it is. And he says, this is my house. And I said, I don't think that it is. And at that point, the only reason that I said that was because truly the awkward encounter of slowing up behind me, talking to us multiple times. I'm in this frantic state. It's late at night. I got my kids, my 2 babies. The lady at the door is not answering. There's no other homes that are well established. I mean, there's construction. It's a corner house. I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm on the front porch. This truck literally is halfway up the driveway. And I was like, my radar was like, nope, I don't think that this is your house. And so I said, I don't believe that this is your house. And so I'm starting to unbuckle Cash and I grab and I freak. I go, Rory, run. And so I take off the porch and I literally run as fast as I can, screaming at the top of my lung. I'm getting all these messages. I'm so sorry. Screaming at the top of my lung. I've never, ever, ever screamed the way that I screamed. And I'm running through the front yards of everybody, praying that the Ring doorbell would capture us. Finally, to get to a woman's house, I'm bang on the door. And at this point, I'm dialing 911. And I said, can I please come in? And the woman said, yes, come in. And so I'm staying there. I'm talking to the sheriff. And more than anything, I was not looking for him to come to my rescue at this point. My husband was going to come. I'm in this woman's house. The door is closed. And I tell the man, he said, do I need to come out? And I just said, no. I said, I was just calling to let you know that this just happened.
First of all, let's speak on the fact that she said the reason why she freaked out is because of the encounter that they had beforehand where he was slowly creeping up on her. Ma'am, how else do you expect somebody to pull in their driveway? You see how perception is not always reality? Because in her mind, speaking as a mother, she might have honestly thought that somebody was creeping up behind her. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, when I'm out with my children, I'm always on guard. Okay? So even if we gave her a pass for that, ma'am, you decided to walk up to this man's house. You are on his property. And when you asked him, do he live there? He told you yes. At that moment, you should have walked away. That man did nothing to you for you to accuse him of trying to kidnap you. You went home. Not only, you didn't go home first, you ran to another neighbor's house. So now you're spreading false information to all the neighbors. You called the sheriff, and we already know what can happen when you call the sheriff on a black man. And then as she goes on to tell her story, she says, well, I didn't even know that he was black. I thought that he was white. Y'all comment down below and let me know if y'all believe that, because he is fair-skinned, he's light-skinned, but at the end of the day, black people, we just have a certain tone to our voice, if you understand what I'm saying. We have a certain dialect where if I hear a black man speaking, 9 times out of 10, I know it's a black man. And he got locks. It's not too many white men walking around with locks. It's just not. But everything with this whole situation is like, when you hear her story, of course she's putting on the Karen tears. And I got to tell you, it's a lot of people in her comments hyping her up, gassing her up, telling her she don't have to apologize. She did the right thing. Because mind you, this woman has over 100,000 followers. She has close to 200,000 followers. Her name is Mshelll. And I'm going to try to insert her name if I can. But this was a highly requested video because I went on her page and I left a voice note over there on Threads. And I said, congrats, you're famous. I will be covering your story. Me not thinking nothing of it. It was so many people in the comments like, yeah, we waiting on you to cover that story. So here I am, y'all. As a mom, it's nothing wrong with protecting yourself and doing whatever you feel you need to do for your children. But where you messed up at was screaming loudly for help and that man did nothing to you. He didn't approach you. He didn't touch you. He didn't come running after you. He was simply walking up to his own doorstep of his own home. And you went and lied and told your husband that he was chasing after you. That was lie number 1. And then when you came back to them people's house to come pick up your stuff, you were expecting them to be understanding of you. Oh, you have to understand my perspective. That I don't like that. Why is it that they always think that we got to understand their perspective? You know, and we are always the kind people, always taking the high road. But because the wife stood her ground and she was like, well, what did my husband do to intimidate you? Because she had the nerve to ask questions, then Karen and her husband got upset. Because y'all done accused this man of trying to kidnap her, so they had some questions for y'all. And they thought they was too good to answer. Ma'am, your husband is a reflection of you. So if he act like that, I can see why y'all are married, which makes your story less believable. And also, I want to wrap this up by saying, if you feel that an area is unsafe or you feel it's not a good time to go out walking, then you probably should just stay home. Don't go anywhere where you feel like you're going to have to be on guard to the point where you're hollering that somebody is kidnapping you. If you know you already got anxiety like that, that's probably not the best situation to be putting your kids in.